Hey, it's Almalie. I've been walking through the MISTS lately, and I've found some really nice houses. I went down the list, 1 to 60, and I walked inside of every house that I could. It's really impressive what some people can do with the decoration system. I've put together my top 10 favorites from Ward 1. For number 10, nothing really stands out too much, but I just thought it was funny that all the NPCs are facing the wall, and the owner doesn't seem to want us in his house. Other than that, I would say that everything else about this house is pretty straightforward. I really liked the outside of this house. It was so colorful, with all the carbuncles and the poof balls. I was pretty excited to see the inside of it. The entrance looked really nice, but as I started looking around, I noticed that there were a lot of these little figures. The figures are cute, don't get me wrong, but there's just so many of them that it started to look a little cluttered. It kind of seems like they're just collecting all the housing items that they get and putting it in their house. Which is fine, I mean, it's their house, they can do what they want, but it seems a little chaotic. Speaking of chaotic, there's like 14 pictures on this one wall. It looks kind of cool though, like a gallery or something. This room is just more random furnishings. There's the bomb furnace, Tonberry bookcase, a Moogle rug, cactuar lamp. They're all laid out really nicely. I'm just not sure if all of these items fit together. Downstairs is where it starts to look a bit more organized. There's a couple of seating areas, this nice little stage, and a room full of bathtubs. Overall, it's still a pretty nice house. I love the outside of this house. Maybe I'm just a sucker for those glowy poof balls, but it's just so cute! This entrance is so cute. If I ever get a house, this is what I'm doing. This house just makes me happy. It looks so cozy. This little room in the corner surprised me. The rest of the house is so bright and pink, and then here we have this serious looking sanctuary. Upstairs is the richest Moogle I have ever seen. I have no idea how they got the walls to do that, but it's so cool. This bedroom seems pretty normal. It's got a fireplace, Moogle decorations, and a bathroom on the side. Downstairs looks like a giant conference room. I never realized how big the basements are until now. It's a shame that I didn't do this during the day, because I bet the light coming through the windows would look awesome. Nothing really stands out too much here. I honestly didn't expect much walking into this house. After loading in, I was pleasantly surprised. This looks like it could be a real place. I've had a really hard time trying to figure out what to say about this house. The atmosphere is just so relaxing that it makes my brain go into a trance. I really like that the whole house has a common theme. You can tell that it was designed to be a tavern, and they did a really good job. The downstairs looks really nice, but I think the main floor is my favorite. Also, I think this house deserves way more likes than it has. Hopefully it can get more in the future. The outside of this house was so nice. I had a pretty good feeling that the inside was going to be good too. And let me tell you, I was definitely right. It's a very small space, but they have done so much with it. Now, I will say that I don't super love the colors, but everything else is just so beautiful. They must have just built this house because it only had 3 likes when I saw it. This place looks awesome. It's got a real beach house vibe to it. This house is just incredible. The water reflections at the entrance. The only reason that this house isn't at number 1 is because it was designed by somebody who basically spends all of their time designing houses. It definitely shows, though. The more I look, the more little details that I find. It's like this house was designed at a professional level. It's got a really calming atmosphere. I had a hard time filming the outside of this house because there was a wall behind me and it was making my camera do weird stuff. As soon as I loaded in here, I just stared at this light for a couple of minutes. It's really relaxing. I feel like I just walked into some upscale restaurant. Downstairs looks like some kind of private bar or club. I love the way that this purple light makes the tree look like it's glowing. Well, it definitely seems like a club of some sort. There's a stage upstairs and a back room for what I can only assume is a more intimate experience. A few of the comments in the book were talking about a fashion show, but I'm not entirely convinced. I'm like 90% sure this is a club. And here we are at the top 3. By the way, if you're still here, I'd really like it if you liked the video. The outside of this house isn't too crazy, but it's still pretty and very organized. This house is honestly ridiculous. It's like a real live mansion. There's so much to look at, I didn't know where to go first. Rainbow fish. I want it. I'm gonna try not to focus on one thing for too long because there's so much to look at in this house. I feel like somebody important lives here. I really love the way all these bookshelves look stacked up next to each other. I also really like these curtain doorways. There's a throne room downstairs. I knew somebody important lived here. In the back room is a lot of gill and gold bars. There's also a couple of gold saucer attractions. I guess that's how they're making all that gill. Upstairs is mainly crafting areas, but it's all very organized. I agree with all the comments in this book. It's beautiful and lovely, and I'm taking the fish. When I first saw this house, my expectations were pretty low. It doesn't look bad, it's just kind of plain. I'm getting serious Heavensward flashbacks. If Skyrim and Heavensward had a baby, this house would be it. These mannequin guards with the armor on them are so cool. Whoever did this had to manually put the gear on each one of these. This place feels really medieval and creepy. It does have a nice bathroom though. Downstairs feels like a dungeon. I feel like I've been thrown into the Middle Ages. The jail bars made out of candlesticks are really creative. This is a creepy castle that's been executed really well. This is it. You made it. My number 1 pick. By the way, real quick, this list is based off of my own personal preferences. So if you agree or disagree, please let me know in the comments. The first thing I noticed about this place was how convenient this bridge is. The rest of the outside is cute, simple, and not too cluttered. If it wasn't obvious by the fact that this is my number 1, I freaking love this house. I love the flowers, the colors, the lighting. I feel like I'm in a dollhouse. This house is small, but it's so pretty. It's like it was built for taking screenshots. I could watch this light spin all day. The reason I chose this house as my number 1, even after I left, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I visited each house on this list about 3 times, and I would always look forward to coming back here. I just really enjoy being here. She's on a free trial right now, but Everly Blooms, I really hope you subscribe because I would love to see more from you. Subscribe to the game, not me, but I mean, that would be cool too. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 of the Miss Ward 1. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you again soon.